Hi everyone, delonewolf here. Welcome back for some more EVE Online, and today's video is going to be a little bit of an update video because CCP is coming out with updates, and some of you guys have requested a little bit of an update on the structure that we have deployed in Yona as well. And so I'm going to try and cover that a little bit in this video, but let's start with the Stargate Trailblazers event that CCP has brought in an update. And at first this event was announced as an event where the players would determine whether or not the empires would get to build a couple of extra stargates to connect certain systems closer to each other, including a connection between Jita and Amar that's going to be a lot shorter and will also require a single low-sec system or something like that. I still haven't looked at all the details, but I think a lot of players were very excited, and in fact in my own head I was already speculating that this would become part of a faction warfare update where perhaps these stargates would then also become goals. If you would push faction warfare far enough, you could blow them up and then the other side would have to rebuild them, put resources in and then fight back, stuff like that. But no, it has been, I'm gonna say, reduced in scope quite massively, because not only will the players not determine the outcome of this event, CCP Fozzy has confirmed that these gates will be built next month by the empires, whether or not the capsuleers help with the resource gathering. But for now, it also looks like it's just going to be a rather short event where these mining expeditions that have existed a long time ago then were pulled from the game. I think it was mostly the reward structure that was really not that good on that one. And it's going to be, I think, like a short one up until June 1st. Yeah, until 1/6 right there, where you can run these expedition sites. It requires, I think it's 3 up to 5, 6 players, something like that, for the harder sides, and then you can earn points, get these boosters. And I've also seen from the events chat channel that there are skins specific to this event. Some of the Galente ones look really cool, which is why I'm actually in Solitude at the moment. I thought maybe I could take a look. It was said in the forum post that there was some high-sec here as well, but unfortunately I think it's Egeron that's not that far away, but it's like a tiny island of a couple of high-sec systems within Solitude that still does not connect the main island where we have our base of operations. So my read on this, and this is pure speculation, so I definitely don't have any more information than any of you guys, is that at first the Stargate Trailblazers event was meant to be a lot larger with this determining aspect from what the players would do, maybe even way larger than what we see right here, but that for some reason CCP had to decide on cutting down on the scope of this. And perhaps even another thing is that they felt not exactly sure that the mining expeditions, the way they exist, would actually be successful enough to keep in the game permanently. And maybe they're like testing the waters a little bit first here by bringing a limited time event involving these mining expeditions that lore-wise involve the capsuleers to help the 4 empires to build those stargates, but in actuality don't really have an impact on the outcome. So I jump cloned into Solitude looking at maybe partaking or at least taking a look at that, but yeah, it looks like it's still true low sec, and it's for me personally, it's like too limited in options where you can do this. Every empire has basically 2 constellations on either side of the gate, and that's really it. So I do feel like whenever you're seeing a lot of low sec involved, you're gonna get a lot of hunters, a lot of camps ready for anyone that tries to join this event. And all the sites, from what I read yesterday at least, are like super busy. Everything is very heavily contested. So I'm probably going to either sit it out or maybe try and sneak in a look later this weekend before the event ends. Maybe try do a little bit of a push or something like that. But yeah, at the moment, if it's not for me, that is actually absolutely fine. It's not like I'm angry or disappointed or anything like that. If it was an option to get in there easily, sure. Right now, this really doesn't feel all that accessible. Rather feels like I'm gonna lose some ventures, and that's about it for the event the way it is set up right here. On top of that, you know, I'm flying Gallente space at the moment, and so lore-wise, Co Incorporated is not exactly a proponent of this new gate that the Gallente Federation wants to build, and that is because we have this this nice, I'm gonna say, base of operations in Solitude, and this is basically our retreat in case of war decks. You can see I've got a Rattlesnake here, I've got a couple of mining ships, including an Orca, max yield, everything ready. I've got an Ishtar for exploration, a couple of transport ships to do some selling, maybe even try and find a wormhole, high sec to high sec, get stuff out from exploration, and I've got even a PvP ship here as well, Talos, just in case of something happening, a Myrmidon for some gas mining. I mean, we've got everything so that we can continue to play EVE Online under a war deck, and the advantage of Solitude being this far away, as it is at the moment, is that, well, if someone were to war deck us and then they would use a locator agent to see where we last docked, we would be here, and this is what they would see, of course. 32 jumps away from Jita, including a passage through Nullsec. And with this new gate, I think this was going to be shortened substantially, and you would have like a passage through only Lowsec, which means that, well, the people war-decking us would have a lot less of a threshold to go through in order to come and hunt us down here in Solitude if we decide to use this base of operations as a retreat. This kind of forces my thinking that if I do get war-decked and I want to avoid the combat, I'm just gonna have to bounce around constantly rather than get back into Solitude and play some EVE Online here with just one eye out instead of two eyes out for the enemy. But yeah, so lore-wise, not exactly for this change either, but we will see how all of this evolves. So this was a little bit of a wasted jump clone, and that means that I'm going to head back to Yona, where we have our current base of operations. That is, if I'm not war-decked at the moment. No, Co Incorporated is not war-decked, so that is just fine, which means that we have to look for our jump clone in so Sesama's Amar space, Giktami's Galdari with our mission hub, which I still have to develop, Rens, so I'm also in Minmatar space, and in the Svarok Glade I still need to get my rep up, and then I could retreat back into Triglavian space. That's gonna become my next Solitude, I think. That could be a project, in fact, now that I think about it. Get that rep up with the Triglavians without losing Edencom rep, and then have this become a base of operations in case of a war deck. That would be annoying for them to have to hunt us, but it's a completely different part of space, of course. And then here is Yona with the Creodron factory, so that's where I'm heading back. Let's do yes. And let's see what is happening over here. So first of all, I've just been doing a little bit more of the same. If I go to my assets, and then I've usually been flying around in this puppy, in the Orca, of course, and so I should have a little bit of compressed ore here. I'm not sure how much, another 73 million that I've gathered, and I've also been doing a little bit of industry, although I'm running out of BPCs for munitions and stuff, so I think now I actually did the crazy stuff, but we're going to see. I also built a couple of frigates. I'm planning to basically hold these a little bit longer term and see if there aren't better opportunities to sell these down the line. But yeah, a small stock. If I now do stack all, normally we should have a small stock, some Merlins, Punishers, some Slashers, a couple of Breachers, stuffed Tormentors as well. Some frigates are ready to be brought to the market when they will be needed. And then something that happened yesterday as well. Let's see if it's still up and running here. If we go to encounters and then we look for pirate strongholds, there is a pirate stronghold in Yona. At first, I was checking this every day. Whenever I mine, I normally do check this, but I was, it never came. So I thought maybe it's because it's 0.8 that we don't get pirate strongholds here. So I actually forgot to check it, and I brought this puppy into a belt with the pirates, and so I was super lucky, I'll be honest. The full patrol warped in at like 100 kilometers. I immediately aligned and I got out in the nick of time. They were at like 40 kilometers and there was still no point on me, so I managed to warp out. They were already chewing through like 33% of my shields at that point. I would have lost the Orca if they had warped right on top of me, at least I think so. So yeah, another warning, right? Even in a 0.8 system, these pirate strongholds do show up, and when they do, I mean, just stop your mining, because you are going to get completely crushed by the local pirates. Those diamond rats are super powerful. So rather than that, we are then going to take our trip to Jita, which is now only 12 jumps out from here. So let's maybe do that, see if I still have some stuff to take back, and at the moment I'm doing that in the Wreath, which I still haven't changed. And in fact, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna go to Jita and then I'll look into changing this one as well, so we are in the right spots. And then here I'm gonna the plagio, maybe I can use the Mexalon for that. So I'm gonna start filling Veldspar and Scordite mostly. Halfway through, we're at 32 million in value. Don't want to completely push it. So I'm also going to bring in, where is it? Like maybe a couple of Punishers. I thought, or at least one Punisher. I thought this one was still positive in production, so maybe it's already okay to try and sell that one. And let's undock finally, 10 minutes in on the video. Let's undock and let's bring this stuff to Jita and see what else we can do over there. But yeah, the pirates are here, guys, and those guys hurt for solo players. You have to be very, very careful. So let's get out there. And so something that I'll do before the end of the evening as well, I do still do the skilling spree at the moment. I just do a little bit of exploration here as well. I have the Testudo Gila at the ready, and in fact yesterday found a nice 3 out of 10. Takes a long time in the Testudo Gila, but it does still work. So off we are into warp. Locally still at 23. It's a little bit of a surprise to me. What do we see? There are the Goristas Kestrels, so you're not gonna see too many mining ships, I don't think, in the system at the moment. But yeah, players are decently active around here. And as you saw as well, no war deck. We have still not been targeted for that one. There's basically still, you can see here now it's empty, but in Yona there's still 2 free ports and a couple of jumps out. There's a couple more. I think, you know, if you're gonna war deck anyway, there's a much better chance of getting something out of these free ports than out of like a private and hidden very new structure. So I think for now it's gonna take a little bit of time before anyone actually decides to war deck us, although it could happen at any time, of course. And so don't forget rule number 1 in EVE Online: don't fly, since we gotta go through Yodama here, or deploy stuff that you are not willing to lose. And yeah, a 33 million cargo in a decently fast Wraith, that should be just fine. So let's see what we encounter here. Here we do have a writer room as well, 2 jumps out. That is free ported, so open to anyone. You know, I think at event research, what are you going to war deck? Co-incorporated that has 1 refinery with nothing in it, that's private, or this one where potentially you can have like blueprints and stuff like that drop. I know which one I would war deck first, but we will see, of course. So next up here, we've got quite a few empty systems. We don't have any free port structures here. 9 players in local, and then we should head into Caldari space, or we're already in Caldari space very quickly. This is really the situation. Compare this to, what would it be, a year ago, or a bit over a year ago, before the cores were, the structure cores were introduced. There were structures everywhere, complete bloat. Well, it's become more expensive, more juicy to go after these structures, and as a result, that has drastically, I think, reduced the sprawl that we knew before. Now, well, you've got here 1 Asbel, all welcome. Let's see if I can figure out if maybe it's like a bigger group or something like that. If Industrial Holdings, Alliance History, maybe it's like holding alliances. all that type of stuff. I'm not really too versed in the high-sec politics either, but here we do have Asbel, Raituru, and another Asbel. That's pretty busy. 2 jumps out of Yudama. I think this is like a nice place in between Jita and Dodixie. But here comes the risky one. We are warping towards Yudama and Sivala production. Yeah, I mean, there's still a couple of structures in almost every system, so and that's not including the private structures that may not be showing up right here on the overview as we do our traveling. And in fact, you just saw one there. You see one here as well show up because we're on grid. So if you want to keep it hidden, you know, don't place your structure on grid with the Stargates. Off we go, and this is the more risky business. 50 Daredevil, so you can see right away you've got some scouts. This is the 0.5 system between Galente Space and Jita. It is a little bit more risky, but my Wraith aligns pretty quickly. There's catalysts coming right there, so there's definitely you know, a lot of activity around here. And I've said this in a previous video as well. As long as I stick to like 1 trip a day between Yona and Jita, I feel like I'm fine. But on one evening I did 3 of them because I wanted to move some extra stuff for some extra sales, and then I noticed I was spotted. I noticed that, you know, there was some scanning happening on my ship, and felt like, you know, they were very much aware that I was doing some regular trips. Once they get your timing down, you are at risk of a suicide gang. So be careful. Try not to be too predictable. That is definitely very important as well. And then we just keep going. We got a couple more jumps to go to Jita itself, and here again we get 2 Freeport Raiterus that are available. It's mostly small stuff as well, which for me I think is a sign that 1 private structure, okay. Once you then start putting in maybe a production facility and a research facility, yeah, even private, that could start to put a real target on your back. So I'm not sure how I would handle that type of stuff just yet. Maybe even putting them in different systems could be the way to go. We will see, of course, as we keep going, and if I decide to expand Co-Incorporated's structure capabilities. So 2 here again, and then this keeps going. Kusumonmon at the gate, nothing. I mean, this is also a 0.7. I feel kind of safe once we are past Udema. And this one empty again, with just some mobile depots on the gates. At least it looks empty, but you can see right there, right, the blue one, that does, I think, show that there is a structure there. That one, yep, definitely. In fact, 2 of them. So they can find your structures, but again, here's another one. I don't think that they're going to prioritize some of these private structures for now. And yeah, look at this, right? 1 there, there. This is the new face of structures in EVE Online. All those free ports, they have been mostly destroyed. They're challenged quite often, and so players build up, I think, a little bit more carefully and keep stuff under wraps, or try to, by going for the private structures. And then perimeter, so now we're getting very close to Jita, where of course the situation is completely different, since we even have a keep star in perimeter for the player markets. Lots of transportation as well. The beating heart of commerce in EVE Online, that's where we're flying in now. And then we get Jita, and so yeah, here you see a couple Sotios, a Tatara, a Keepstar, a Fortizar here. This is busy. This is right next to Jita, and it's only here because you can't put any structures in Jita itself. And I think they're all around the Jita gate itself. So there's one. There's the keep star behind it. You can always see it. It's very impressive, but this is in the hands of the very biggest groups in EVE Online, and so, you know, this is kind of safe, even if someone would try to ward a hit or anything like that. And then we go off to Jita 4-4, where again, I mean, look how busy it is here. I'm not too worried about getting ganked in Jita itself. Way juicier targets out there than what I usually fly in, and my Wraith is pretty quick. And then let's go take a look.
Docking permission requested. Docking request accepted.
This does sometimes take a while, but you can see here pretty smooth docking. And then ores and minerals. Let's put that in here. And then back here, what else did I bring in? Yeah, one of these punishers. Let's just put that away as well. So first thing I'm going to do is we're going to take a look at this. Is definitely not needed. This was like an event where you had to like shoot something once. So that's why this one is here. And then we can either go with Cargohold or structure. Definitely not this, because we want to warp very quickly. I'm actually gonna, I think, how big is it? 5k almost. And like this, it's with 6.2k. I mean, that is a pretty big difference. And what does this one do exactly? This gets me some structure hit points. Well, I think we can get rid of one of these. Put that in the cell. And then I need, let's see here, warp core stabilizer. Take it, take 2. That only costs 1 million, so that is fine. Like that. So we want this one in here. Okay, still plenty of fitting. Then we have the, what was it called? Nullifier. Interdiction Nullifier II is what I would prefer. Requirements, I can use that, and look at that, 1.4 million. And when we first checked it out, it was like 34 million or something like that for the sale. So a little bit of patience does help. Let's buy the Tech 2 Interdiction Nullifier, put that one in here. And then of course you also want a cloak. Let's see if we can get that one. I think honestly, I think a prototype cloaking device one would be okay, but this is only 4 million. Maybe we'll just try and get a Tech 2 on that one as well. I haven't checked the fitting, if it'll take it, but I hope that we can. Yeah, it is fine. And so this is how I'm going to refit the Wraith. If I were to ever get into trouble, like, you know, for some reason I want to take this one through a low sec system, we get this in case of a point. Same thing with the gank. Quite often there's only like 1 point on you, so this gives you a method of escape. And if we ever were to take this one into wormhole space or nullsec, we get an answer against bubbles. And once one of these cooldowns is up, so maybe I should undock and see if everything works as intended, because the latest patch also put in some fixes on this one. So let's take a look at that. So yeah, these are active now. And so if you were like ganked, there's usually also a point on you. Then you can just activate this one. Ooh, that looks pretty cool. And so this gives you 15 seconds to try to get the hell out of here, and the Wraith is fast enough. And then if you know, you're worried about a bubble, you can activate this one. And then during the cooldown, which is quite massive of course, what I would then do of course is warp to a safe spot somewhere, cloak up, wait for my cooldowns, and then continue my travel. So yeah, this is the change to the Wraith. Let's dock back up if I can. That doesn't give me any timers, that all looks fine. So this transport ship is now ready and refits. This stuff can also go in my sell later container. And then I just have one more thing to do actually, since I am here anyways. We're going to try and buy some more minerals for my production. So I'm still trying to buy these hydrants for 710, but that was a little bit too aggressive. Now let's take a look at some of this. Definitely want some megasites, which at the moment is actually going back up a little bit. So looks like the slump after the patch may start to slowly be digested. And then if I want to grab this, I would place a buy order. We are going to select a different station. Perimeter Tranquility Trading Tower, since the taxes are so much lower there. And now I'll do just 5.99. That's fine. 3 months. One jump out so we can buy in Jita. And then is it like... I try to not spook the market too much. So we are going to... try and stay below 10 million with 16,000 units. That should be fine. And where is my buy order? Or did it trigger something else? Oh no, there it is. There's my buy order. Okay. I actually am interested in seeing if I can buy some cheap Mixalon, and that is still going down. I'm actually going to do that. I was running out of Mixalon in Yona during my industry, so we're just gonna try and grab it for 78 on this one. So again, definitely don't buy in Jita itself, or maybe I should show that to you guys as well. So 78 ISK, then we'll take 3 months, we'll do one jump, and 78. Let's see, is that like a... so that's actually a 12? No, an 11. All right, so could do a little bit more. That's a little bit too much. There we go. That's just under 10 million ISK, 120,000 units. That's actually not a lot. We're just gonna go for 500,000. 500,000 units. And now this is costing me 1.3 million in Jita itself. And then if I do select station, perimeter Tranquility Trading Tower, there we go. It's only 390,000 ISK in broker's fees, and we keep the price below 40 million ISK. So that's quite nice. And I just press buy. I think everything looks all right. 3 months, one jump from the Tranquility Trading Tower. Yes, and there we go. Hopefully we can grab that, because I don't think this is going to last. Honestly, if you're looking at what's already happening with megasites, I actually expect that Mixalon has a little bit of a bounce in it as well later down the line. But that's already, yeah, that's half an hour. I mean, this is like a little bit of an idea as to my evenings, outside of quite a bit of extra mining as well that I would be doing in the Orca if those bloody pirates wouldn't be in our system. This is something that I do on practically a daily basis as well. Take a quick trip to Jita, buy some extra minerals, maybe sell some stuff, maybe look at my investments. Let's maybe end with that as well. So at the moment I still have these holdings, so I managed to grab a couple of hounds that I bought for less than 25 million. Look at that. Couple of buyers starting to come in here at 26 million, and the sellers have been pushed up to 32 million. So looks like we're already in the profits, but maybe we can do better. I would definitely love to see a price. Maybe we can try 35. But yeah, I could put up a sell order now and already take a profit. And then this Vapol, that one is still under pressure. So 40 million now for the buyers, 45 for the sellers. It's not like I couldn't take a small profit, but I'm still kind of hoping that this one will go higher, since all the other destroyers, tactical destroyers, are just below 50 million ISK. Extra investments for now. We didn't really spot anything in last week's EVE talk, so maybe not, or I'd need a little bit more time to do my homework. But yeah, this is, oh, and there we already have our first purchase of Mixalon. Let's move that into the Wreathe for transportation. But yeah, this is a little bit of an update, right? Nothing special to report for the Stargate trailblazers. Honestly, yeah, I'm probably not going to participate in that one. When it comes to my own structure, it's still as bare bones as it gets. It's basically just a compression structure. That is it. No war decks, and yeah, this is how I'm playing EVE at the moment. Mining when I can, and a little bit of trading back and forth in Jita as well, trying to eke out a living in EVE Online. That's it for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, I'll see you next time.